Hello, and welcome to Solving for the Undefined podcast. I'm your host, Johanna, founder of Miss Kuiper's Classroom, the place that equips teachers and parents in helping students struggling with on-grade level math. But it's not always about the numbers, and that's why I'm here, bringing you the formulas to solve your problems, math and otherwise, and helping students gain confidence in academic abilities. And that's what you can count on.
Hello. Welcome to a brand new episode. I'm so glad you're here today. Before we begin, I want to share with you about this awesome opportunity that's coming up super soon. It is called the Reignite the Math Classroom Conference. It's going to be awesome. We know that teachers are busier than ever, especially with the ever-changing society that we live in. If you're trying to do all the things and yet nothing seems to be working, you're not hearing this by mistake. We are here to help you reignite your math classroom so that way when you go back to school in the fall, you are feeling confident, you are feeling capable, and you're feeling ready to have your best year yet. The Reignite the Math Classroom Conference is a virtual professional development opportunity where you can learn at your own pace. Beginning August 8th, you will have access to our virtual conference filled with research-based proven techniques to help reignite your classroom. There's going to be 11 PD topics. 11! How awesome is that? And I'm going to be speaking on how to scaffold for student success. And I know that word scaffold can kind of throw people off, but basically I'm going to be sharing how to structure your classroom for every student that walks through your door. It's going to be pretty awesome. The waitlist is already open, and if you want to be one of the first people to find out when the doors are open so you can purchase this conference, go ahead and find the link in the show notes. You can find it in my Instagram bio, or you can send me a DM and I will send you the link to the waitlist. Our early bird sales begin June 6th. Be sure you are on the waitlist so you are one of the first people who knows about the early bird pricing. If you are ready to reignite your math classroom, join the waitlist now. Again, you can find that in the show notes, you can find the link in my bio, or you can DM me on Instagram and I'll send you the link. I'm so excited for this opportunity. Do not miss out. All right, let's get into today's episode. Today, I wanted to talk to you about 3 things to incorporate into the end of your school year. The first one is brain breaks. We all know how awesome and important it is to have a break. Teachers may not get very many of them, but a break is how we reset our brain, recharge our bodies, ready to go for whatever's next. One of my favorite brain breaks to do with my students is called Skunk. Yes, you heard that right, Skunk. It is a dice game where students are going to take a risk to earn points. Now, what they need to do is take out a piece of paper and write SKUNK on it and kind of make it columns with each letter. You can change the name based on however many rounds you want to do, but each letter is going to be a round. What they're going to do is they're going to stand up at their desks and you're going to roll 2 dice. Whatever numbers show up on the dice is how many points the standing students get. So if I roll a 4 and a 6, any student standing gets 10 points for that round. Then, students get to choose if they're going to sit down and just take 10 points for the round. Or they can stay standing and have you roll again to earn additional points for that round. If, in that second roll, I roll a 1, any standing student loses all the points they got for that round. And if in this scenario I roll 2 1s, or snake eyes, students lose every point they have earned in the entire game. It's definitely a risk, but probability is on your side. The way the round ends is when you roll a 1 or every student opts out of a round. The way the game ends is after you complete each round. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. And of course, you can give them a prize if you want to, or they can just be the skunk champion for the day. It's a really fun brain break to do. I haven't met a class yet who hasn't enjoyed playing this game. Another break you can do is something I made up myself called Guess That Slogan Activities. This is where students are given a topic, let's say cereal, and they're given 14 slogans to go with it. Their goal is to figure out what cereals go with each slogan. It's a lot of fun. I usually do this as a team activity, either in pairs or in a group of 3 or 4, because sometimes not everyone eats cereal, or they don't know a certain cereal, but another person does. So it's a collaboration of minds in this brain break. On these particular activities, I do have ones that have the word bank as well, so that way if students are stuck, they have like an idea of which one it could be. But I also have the option to not have the word banks on those to increase the challenge or intensity. My brain breaks also come in car brands, fast food brands, candy, popular brands, and a holiday song version, but it's not currently the holidays. Unless you want to, then feel free. My students always enjoy this. I usually do it at the beginning of the school year as like a team activity and then sprinkle the rest in throughout the school year. They also come with a digital form, so that way if you're online or you prefer students doing them online, they have that option as well. And guess what? Each one of these is only $1 in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. Or you can buy the whole bundle for $4. Basically, you're buying 4 and getting 1 for free. So you can find that link in the show notes so that way you can snag this deal. Another thing that you should incorporate into the end of your school year is fun games. I know this seems super broad, like, oh, we should play a game, but more strategic than that. One of the ones that I like to do is Ultimate Tic-Tac-Toe. It's like tic-tac-toe on steroids. It is 9 tic-tac-toe boards inside of a giant tic-tac-toe board. And students are competing against each other to strategically place things to make the other team put something in a specific box. It's kind of hard to explain verbally without showing you. So I will let you know in the show notes how to play that game. My students, my second year of teaching, taught me this game and it is so much fun. It's just a lot more challenging and more strategic than regular old tic-tac-toe. And if you want to bump the math up in it, I created a tic-tac-toe board with solving equations in each box. So there's 9 times 9. There's 81 equations on this ultimate tic-tac-toe board. So when students want to X or O the box, they have to do the equation first. And then they get to mark that equation. And then the next person, or you could do teams, goes and does theirs. It's a lot of fun. I know I said that before, but it's a lot of fun. And another math activity, math game that you can play is a math speed run. This is typically used for math fluency, getting students to understand addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. But at least with my middle schoolers, it's always good to review those multiplication facts. And I use the math speed runs for that. So I give students a blank multiplication chart with numbers on the side. I don't always put them in order 1 to 10, so that way it ups the challenge just slightly. But students are going to write in each box the answer to the multiplication problem. The top 3 people who do this the fastest and correctly go on a leaderboard inside my classroom. I usually do this maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, just so that way the leaderboard is constantly changing. And I do this between classes as well. So if someone in my first period gets 3 minutes and 42 seconds, and someone in my fourth period gets 3 minutes and 41 seconds, they're going to bump the person from whatever other period I just said down to the next leaderboard spot. It's a lot of fun to see the competition go outside of just one class. And little do students know that they're learning math facts better than they had before. While they're having fun and have the incentive to be on the leaderboard to get their little bit of fame. Another thing I like to do, it's not really a game, more like a project that's fun, is a budget contest. I give students a budget. Typically, I normally do Disneyland is where their destination is, because then they don't have to be searching for a destination as well. But you could change that up so that way it's more fun and more tailored to your students and their likes and desires. That sounds fine. You can tailor it to their likes and desires. But I give students a set budget where they are going to find a place to stay, things to do, food to eat, transportation. Every single part of their vacation has to be budgeted. Whoever comes up with the most fun vacation voted on by the students wins the prize of Budget Master, or whatever title you want to give them. It gives the incentive of some sort of prize at the end while still learning how to budget their money and seeing that, wow, trips are actually kind of expensive. So it's a lot of fun. I've done it with my students most years, minus COVID year because, COVID. But it's been a lot of fun. They usually find out some really cool things and actually want to really take the vacations. I don't think any of my students actually have done the vacations they've budgeted, but, maybe I'll steal some of their ideas for later on. But those are some fun games and activities to incorporate into the end of your school year that are still math and strategy based, but maybe typically more fun than some of the other things we do. And it doesn't have to be content specific, because math isn't always about the numbers. It's about learning to solve a problem with whatever tools that you have. So students take these problem solving skills that they learn in their math classroom and can apply them to any other area of their life. I like to incorporate these games that I've mentioned. I also incorporate other board games like Quicks, Phase 10, Quirkle, Farkle, Yahtzee hands down. That's one game I learned this weekend, and it's so much fun. I know I've said so much fun so many times in this episode, but I really do mean that these things are fun. The last thing to incorporate into your classroom is reflection. And this reflection is not only going to help your students better understand themselves and how to approach their next school year, but it'll also help you as the teacher tailor your next class to better suit your students. And yes, I know the classroom is going to be exactly the same as this group of students, but it might help you reset the parameters that you have to better suit your next group of students. The way I like to incorporate reflection is not just one long piece of paper with a bunch of questions in one setting, but I like to do it as like an exit ticket kind of thing. Say you have 4 days left in school. First day, at the very end, I'll ask students what their favorite part of class is. They'll write it on a sticky note and hand it to me out the door. On the second day, I'll be like, what one thing would you change about this class? They write it down, hand it to me out the door. Anything that you want to know from your students to give you kind of some constructive criticism or praise about your class, these sticky note questions at the end of the class is the way to do it. You can also go more in depth with reflection if you want students to reflect on their year more specifically, but I think doing this short sticky note activity is a lot more effective in the long run than giving a long sheet of questions where students are answering 3 or 4 or 5 questions in one sitting. To recap what we've talked about today, 3 things to incorporate within your classroom at the end of the school year is 1, brain breaks, 2, fun games, and 3, reflection. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your school year. Reminder about Reignite the Math Classroom Conference. You can find the link to join the waitlist in the show notes on my Instagram bio, or you can send me a DM and I'll send you the link.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. To find all the links and resources to things talked about in this episode, head on over to MissKuipersClassroom.com and click on podcast.